For this week's devotional, we're going to look at a continuation of the story in 2 Samuel. Last time we talked a little bit about the Ark of the Covenant and how it was captured and brought before the Philistines, and their God basically bows down and worship it. Well, now we find ourselves in 2 Samuel. We're a little ways past that story, and the Ark of the Covenant now is being brought into Jerusalem, into the city of David. And David is so excited about this that he worships because the presence of God is about to be in his city. We see this in 2 Samuel chapter 6. Starting at verse 12, it says, "Now King David was told the Lord had blessed the househead of Obed-Edom and everything he has because of the Ark of God. So David went to bring up the Ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David with rejoicing. When those who were carrying the Ark of the Lord had taken 6 steps, he sacrificed a bull and a fattened calf. Wearing a linen ephod, David was dancing before the Lord with all his might, while he and all Israel were bringing up the Ark of the Lord with shouts and sounds of trumpets." And so here we see that David is celebrating. He is literally dancing in the presence of the Lord because he's so excited that the ark, that the presence of God is going to be in his city, in the city of David. Well, if we read just a little bit further, we see that David gets criticized for his dancing, for the way that he is rejoicing and celebrating in the presence of God. Verse 20, it says, "When David returned home to bless his household, Michal, daughter of Saul, came out to meet him and said, 'How the king of Israel has distinguished himself today, going around half naked in full view of the slave girls of his servants as any vulgar fellow would.' David said to Michal, 'It was before the Lord who chose me rather than your father or anyone from his house when he appointed me ruler over the Lord's people, Israel. I will celebrate before the Lord. I will become even more undignified than this, and I will be humiliated in my own eyes. But by the slave girls you spoke of, I will be held in honor.'" I love this story because as David hears that others have seen him dancing and celebrating and rejoicing with God, and then they scrutinize him. They say they criticize what he's done, saying, "How could you do that? You look so foolish out there." And David just says, "I'm going to look even more undignified. That I will humiliate myself in my own eyes because I am so excited to be in the presence of God. I'm so excited to have the ark in my place that I will do and worship God in whatever way I feel." And so I love this, that David just says, "I'm worshiping God, and you cannot stop me from worshiping God. I don't care if you think I look foolish. I will look even more foolish because I will continue to worship God no matter what anyone else says." I think that's a hard lesson for us to learn sometimes. I think that sometimes, at least I've felt it before, that I'm afraid they're going to look at me and think maybe I'm holier than holier, or that I think I'm better, and so yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm being criticized for my faith or for the worship that I have. But it's a good reminder here that David just saying, God's my priority. He's the greatest thing. I will celebrate and rejoice and worship him, and there is nothing anyone can say. I will continue to do it. I will continue to look foolish in the eyes of men to continue to worship my God. And so that's a healthy reminder for me, and maybe that's one that you needed to hear today as well.